Ladies and gentlemen, we are live this afternoon for NASCAR 06 Total Team Control, and it is the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series turn to take the high banks at Daytona for our mini speed weeks of NASCAR 06 this week. Ran the Truck Series race 2 nights ago on Tuesday night. Last night on a Wednesday, we ended up running the Busch Series season opener at Daytona, and now it's time this afternoon to run the Daytona Duel race, the Gatorade Duel. We'll see which one will be in, whether it'll be race 1 or race 2, virtue of qualifying for the Daytona 500. That will set the front row, of course, and then the rest of the field will be determined based off the dual races in this stream. Later tonight, we'll have the Daytona 500 at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so hope to see you for that one. Of course, the big race of the week as far as the video game side of things go. And we'll see if we can have Dale Jr. a good run and a chance to win back-to-back Daytona 500s. Of course, he's the defending winner of the Daytona 500 in 2004. And you guys fan voted for me to race this Dale Jr. in both the Busch and the Cup Series on this season mode playthrough for those two. And then Ron Hornaday, of course, for the trucks. Not a great start to Speed Weeks. 34th with Ron Hornaday in the truck race and 37th last night at Daytona for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Busch race. We have gotten into wrecks in both races and obviously costed us track position in both. Need to keep the car clean today. I have a setup. I did practice. That's why I was going to start the stream at 2, but I ended up at 2:30. Got some extra practice in. I feel very comfortable with the handling of the race car, and it's pretty fast as well. It's more trimmed out for qualifying, so I'm going to make adjustments to go back to the race trim before the dual race. But for qualifying, it's going to be a little edgy. And we'll see if we can sit on the front row. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into this race. Qualifying for the Daytona 500, again, is going to start the front row. So only first and second will actually get to keep their spot, assuming they do not wreck in the dual race later today and have to go to a backup car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. working his way off of pit road. Here we go. Get a little on the edgier side. 29 pounds per square inch is the air pressure. It is going to be very loose in qualifying, but he's going to hope that he can hold it flat around the high banks of this bumpy racetrack at Daytona to try and get this thing going. Who doesn't like Thursday afternoon duels? It's just like it used to be in real life. Only it's not February, it's May, but you guys get the point. Oh, man, that's not going to work out too well. That's already going to cost Dale Jr. the pole on lap 1 at least. He was trying to run the outside through 3 and 4 to carry a little bit more momentum. He's going to go to the outside through the tri-oval. And now he's going to work his way back down into turn 1 to the bottom. So again, Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking for speed. Likely not going to have the pole on lap 1. He's hoping lap 2 is going to be there. Bit loose off the exit of turn 2, washes up to the middle lane. You can see the tracker on the bottom of the screen. Starting to fade a little bit. He's just inside the top 10 right now. That'd be a good starting spot for dual race. Number 1 or 2, depending on what row he'll end up in. And now it's working its way back towards the front in turns 3 and 4. Maybe the wind is helping him out. Again, gets a bit sideways off the exit of 4. Can't really hold the bottom all the way off the exit of the corner. It wants to drive up the track a little bit on the bottom end of the tri-oval. 8th on lap 1 for Dale Jr. So 8th place on lap 1. Trying to pick up the time for lap 2. To win back-to-back Daytona 500s, track position is going to be key for a lot of races this season. Hooked to the yellow line a lot better that time through 1 and 2. Carries the speed on the back straightaway. The ticker is still tracking for the pole. Really good entry into 3. Trying to hold it in the middle of the corner. Shakes up the track a bit off the exit of turn 4. Back down to the bottom. The marker's starting to move on the bottom of the screen. Will it be a pull time? Down to the apron. Into the tri-oval. 47.866. And that is a pole for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He'll be starting out in front in the Daytona 500 later tonight. That was pretty close. It looked like Jimmy Johnson qualified second with a 47.906. 903. I believe it was a 903 for Jimmy Johnson. So Johnson will start on the pole in dual race number 2. Dale Jr. will be in dual race number 1. How about that? Summertime Superstar League, welcome to the stream. Patrick Shadley, Lawnmower, I see you out there up there in the chat. Derek Booth, Susie Ninacek, Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream. How about that? Went risky with the setup. It was definitely unstable, but he held it down. Lap 1, not great, but still ended up in the top 10. Lap 2, Dale Jr. picked it up, got the pole, and got it by about 0.04 of a second over Jimmy Johnson in second. Gonna knock that air pressure back down a little bit. Gonna go to 27 PSI, and I'm gonna put wedge back in the car to 2 rounds. That felt really good in practice. I'm not sure where I was practice time-wise. I didn't see, but we'll see where he is going to start for the dual race, or at least the inside line for the dual race. Again, here's the rules. I kind of already stated it, but the Gatorade Duel at Daytona determines the starting positions for the Daytona 500. The first race will determine the inside row. The second race will determine the outside row. The front row for the Daytona 500 based off of qualifying time alone. So again, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be on the pole. Jimmy Johnson will be on the outside of the front row for the Daytona 500 later tonight, unless they crash in this dual race. So again, have to make it to the end of the race. Do not damage the car at all, and we'll be out in front for the Daytona 500 a little bit later. All right, let's get some Daytona racing underway today. A little doubleheader for you guys on the channel. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. will lead to the field of the green on a Thursday afternoon dual racing. At Daytona, Mark Martin will start outside of the front row, looking for his first career Daytona 500 victory. Dale Jr. does have one teammate in this race. It'll be Martin Truex Jr. in the 1, who is starting his rookie season in the Busch Series. Or sorry, in the Busch and the Cup Series in this game. So we'll see what he can do there for sure. Pretty good launch up the start. Dale Jr. actually got up to speed a lot better that time. It changed the gearing around because of how slow Jr. was in the Busch Series race yesterday trying to get up to speed. Drifts up to the outside lane in turns 1 and 2. Kyle Busch going to try to go for the lead on the bottom. He is a rookie in the Cup Series this season. Jr. a bit tight. Got into the wall on the outside. Greg Biffle going to get by down low as well. That wasn't ideal. Junior didn't practice running the outside in practice. Hopefully that's not what costed him a little bit. Lost a little bit of time stacking up the pack behind. Only 22 cars in dual race number 1. Mark Martin gets by Dale Jr. on the outside. Down the back straightaway. He'll go to the bottom lane into turns 3 and 4. And Junior might have to knock the wedge down a little bit because he is struggling right now to hold the bottom lane in traffic. Was not like that in the race, but in practice. But granted, Dale Jr. didn't have any drafting help in practice either. He was all by himself. That's probably why the handling of the car was a bit better. Drifting up to the middle lane that time. If he gets out of the gas, he could probably keep it down on the bottom of the track. 60 laps in both dual races. 1 pit stop will have to be made. Good old Thursday afternoon duels, yep. And this pack is definitely catching up to the top 2 of Kyle Busch and Greg Biffle. Busch led the opening lap, despite qualifying in 5th for the 500, which means he started 3rd in this race. A lot of Roush cars up towards the front of the field right now. Greg Biffle 2nd, Mark Martin 3rd, Matt Kenseth in 5th. Dale Jr., Mark Martin working well together, and they are closing in on the leaders. Into turns 1 and 2, 1 car goes to the outside. Greg Biffle getting a little tight. In the traffic behind Kyle Busch in the 5. That's going to space apart the top 2 a little bit, and that's going to give the bigger run for the 3 cars closing in from behind. Junior on the back straightaway, gonna look low. Underneath Mark Martin, he'll make the pass for 3rd. And he'll be able to hop in line behind Greg Biffle. Biffle goes to the outside. Dale Jr. gonna go with him, trying to get some draft. He's not good on the outside, but he holds it that time through 3 and 4. Kyle Busch gets up into the marbles. Biffle with a run. Here comes Dale Jr. into the tri-oval, now to the inside of Greg Biffle. And going for the lead on the front stretch underneath Kyle Busch. He sneaks half the car length down below the WO line, and Dale Jr. will have the lead into turn 1 at Daytona. Going all the way up tight. He's in the wall on the outside. Can't get off of it. 3 wide down low. Oh, and Greg Biffle's blowing an engine. Biffle to the lead. He's going to blow an engine in the dual race, and he's going to have to start out back in the 500. Pandemonium. Junior went wide. They went 3 wide underneath for the lead. Busch narrowly got through the middle lane as Greg Biffle blew an engine down low. Junior to the outside now, off the exit of turn 4. Martin underneath him as they're door-to-door off the exit of the corner. Kenseth's going to go with the 8 of Earnhardt. They usually say one of the dual races is a lot quieter than the other, and I don't think this is the quiet one. And Busch is all by himself out here. There goes one of the Roush cars. Remember, 3 of the 3 Roush cars yesterday in the Busch race blew an engine of Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, and Carl Edwards. The only 3 running in the Busch series, and they all blew an engine. Did not finish the race. Coincidentally, Biffle blowing an engine here. Down to the bottom, into turn 3. Busch with a block. He was not clear. And I don't know how the 8 and the 5 did not wreck that time. Kyle Busch holds on to the lead. He's getting gutsy with it right now. The rookie making moves. Looking low again. Busch trying to squeeze Junior. Junior getting hugged down on the bottom. A bit of contact into the corner. No! Into the outside wall goes Junior. Hard hit from Gordon. Cleared out by the 38 of Elliott Sadler. And nearly up on his lid in turns 1 and 2. The big one. In dual race number 1 at Daytona. I think one car did end up on his lid. Yeah, I was going to say the 99 of Carl Edwards ended up upside down. Jeff Gordon got a big lick in there too. I thought somebody else, yeah, Elliott Sadler flipped as well. 2 cars flipped in that wreck. Oh my gosh. Well, Biffle's going to be, or Dale Jr., sorry, is going to be hitting pit road here. A lot of cars in that accident. Sparking a big wreck. Not going to be able to make it on field from here. Giant accident, and the big one is out in dual race number 1. Thank you for the commentary comment there, Derek. Got to be on my best games, the Daytona 500 later today. Kyle Busch did not leave a lot of room on the bottom for Dale Jr. There was no give and take, and both cars ended up in the wall on the outside, and a lot of others involved as well. Edwards went for a barrel roll. So did Elliott Sadler. He flipped. And Dale Jr. now at the back of the line. 50 laps to go. I don't know why it started me off in 3rd gear, but that did not help. And that's not going to lead to a good restart for Dale Earnhardt Jr. this time. It looked like Mark Martin got to the lead when the caution came out, so he is out in front. Speed Weeks is getting expensive. We've had a lot of wrecks. Yes, and we're not even in the Daytona 500 yet. Oh my gosh. That wreck took out about half the field considering there's only 22 cars. Biffle's already out of the race, so there are only 21 cars left in the race when that wreck happened. I think we're going to get some debris cautions from that. I would not be surprised. Dale Jr. tried to repair as much damage as he could. Unfortunately, he's going to lose the draft, and he hit the wall pretty hard on the outside, and that's one thing that costed him. Well, there's a caution, never mind. Our 2nd of the race. I think that might be for debris in the middle of the pack. Oh, never mind. It looked like somebody might have wrecked. Jeff Gordon. Oh, man, yeah, one car ended up in the wall. I think Gordon shedded debris, and then Elliott Sadler ran it over and ran into the wall. So the hood of Jeff Gordon's race car flies off. Sadler runs it over. He wrecks in the middle of the pack. Might have taken out another car with him. So that sparked another accident. Dale Jr. is going to pit again while he's at the tail of the field. And nobody else is going to come down either. Oh, why not? Take on more tires and fuel. Repair a little more damage. Yeah, whoever wins this race is going to start third in the Daytona 500 tonight. Only one lap on the tires, but bumpy Daytona, why not change them? At the back of the pack anyway of everybody left in the race. 2 cautions in the early going of dual race number 1. Elliott Sadler also hit pit road after wrecking. So Sadler and Earnhardt hit the pits. Green flag back in the air. Junior trying to get a much better start this time, so he can try to stay with the pack. Messed with the gearing a little bit. I don't like how it started me in 3rd gear, though. That's definitely not helping on the restarts. Good news is Earnhardt does have 1 car behind him of Elliott Sadler. And we know Sadler's got some damage too, so he might be able to stay in the draft with him. We may get another caution for debris. 45 laps to go in dual race number 1 following the next yellow. Junior staying in front of Elliott Sadler right now. Sadler going to get to the inside off turn 4. He'll get around Earnhardt. Earnhardt hops in line behind him. Whoa, man, 1 car barrel rolling off of turn 4 down into the grass. I didn't see what happened there, but I think we had a blowover. The 0-0. I saw 1 car flipping down in the infield. I couldn't tell who it was. I think it might have been another piece of debris off of the 0-0 of Kenny Wallace. We're going to get another caution. Our 3rd of the race already, but I don't know who that was just barrel rolling down in the grass. It looked like I saw somebody. I think we had a blowover with somebody on a flat tire of some sort. Dale Jr. going to top off on fuel again. I don't think you can blame Dale Jr. for pitting at the back of the pack every time. I don't know how many more cautions we're going to get, but we have to be right around the edge of the fuel window by the time we go green this time. Victor getting a lot of practice in. They haven't made any mistakes in the dual race. Hopefully they don't make any mistakes in the Daytona 500 later. Crazy race. Sadler getting screwed at plate tracks, also not on. No, him flipping at a plate track is pretty in the ordinary for him in the 38 car at least. 20 cars left in the race. Somebody else DNF'd. I think whoever just flipped out the bottom of the racetrack is also out, so just 20 cars left. We had 3 flips in this race. Dale Jr. going to get around Elliott Sadler on the restart from 19th. He's going to lose the draft to the other cars in front of him for now. That's all right, though, if we get another accident. 41 laps to go at Daytona in dual race number 1. 3 yellows in the first 20 laps have really slowed this race pace down quite a bit. We'll see if we get another one. Elliott Sadler, Dale Jr. trying to work together right now. Jr. with a little bit fresher tires. He keeps pitting under these other yellows. Hoping nobody sheds debris again. And Sadler and Earnhardt are closing in on the pack. Earnhardt not even having to drop in line behind the 38 car. They're closing in on him outright. Again, the window will open to the end of the race pretty shortly, I'd have to imagine. And being able to repair the damage under the cautions is huge for Earnhardt, trying to get him back speed-wise into this race. Maybe he doesn't have to go to a backup car. They've done a great job repairing it under the 3 cautions so far. 300 cautions, it feels. Earnhardt staying in the gas full throttle, going to push up the track, just trying to keep the momentum up right now. Closing in on John Andretti in the 14 car. He's definitely starting to gap Sadler as he's caught the back of the pack. Look at the speed. 197 miles an hour into turn 3. Earnhardt feathered the throttle a little bit, staying in the pack right now behind Andretti on the inside. Nobody's going to pit this time. It's the danger zone, though, if you get involved in an accident in any way. 3 wide in the tri-oval. 3 by 3. Drafting behind Boris Said right now in the 36 is Earnhardt. Trying not to get tight in the dirty air. He's feathering the throttle. Just very, very narrow racing back in the pack. Said got a big run in the exit of turn 2. Mark Martin still out in front. He's led a lot of laps. Under caution flag especially. Earnhardt managing the throttle, getting a little bit better at it. I'm telling you guys, you cannot run full throttle in this game at Daytona, Talladega. Which is actually kind of good, because in the pack in real life, you'd have to feather the throttle. Especially a bumpy Daytona like this. So I actually really like it. It's difficult, but I like it. I mean, I'd like to win the dual race. Who doesn't want to win at Daytona? Give me a little confidence going into the 500. Earnhardt got lucky. He didn't have too much damage out of that crash earlier. Looks to the outside. Little bump draft to the back of the 36 of Boris Said. Got to be careful bump drafting with these Gen 4 cars and at this bumpy racetrack. Said shuffle out of line now as Earnhardt gets down low behind Jason Leffler in the 11. Also going to be a rookie for Joe Gibbs Racing in the 11 car this season. Ooh, door check off the exit of turn 4. Said and Earnhardt side drafting each other. Clayton iPad, welcome to the stream. Earnhardt's going to get around Said. Wimmer drops to the bottom. Dale Jr. up to 13th. I think there's so many cars with... Oh, 22 got sideways off turn 2. Almost got clipped from behind. I don't know who that was that he... I think it was him and Boris Said. Wimmer and Said. Nearly wrecked off of turn 2. No drafting help behind Earnhardt anymore. And we've got some cars pitting off of turn 4. One car looked like he might have wanted to pit and didn't. And it was the 2 of Rusty Wallace, the Blue Deuce. So Earnhardt will be able to catch Wallace in the draft. Wallace may pit the next time by. We'll have to wait and see. Oh my goodness, it's amazing how tight Earnhardt got that time. And now Earnhardt's in the wall. Couldn't lift out of the throttle soon enough that time. So Earnhardt definitely not going to be able to make it on fuel. Probably about 5 to 6 laps short. Nobody else pits this time. We're going to alternate through the different... Well, actually, we're going to have a field pass for the first time in dual race number 1. We'll see what Martin Truex Jr. is doing right now. Truex is towards the front of the pack. He is in 6th place. And it is getting very racy towards the front. So Martin Truex Jr. at the front of the field. Kyle Busch right up here as well. Ooh, a little contact getting into the corner. 0, Mike Bliss, also a rookie. Nearly pulled down right on top of Martin Truex Jr. Truex has survived the carnage. He's got a car that doesn't really have any damage on it at all. Ooh, stack it up a bit. Bump drafting into the middle of the corner with Bliss. Oh, and Kyle Busch is blowing up. Busch is blowing up in front of the field. Just like Greg Biffle. And as he tries to get down and out of the way, that's going to be another spot and another car who was leading at one point and now not only is no longer leading, but is going to have to start at the tail end of the field in the Daytona 500. Truex with Bliss going to get around Gordon. Ryan Newman in the 12 going to jump down to block the 0 and the 1. The two rookies of Bliss and Truex are now running 3rd and 4th as we'll go back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Who's pretty much all by himself right now. It's likely going to be a fuel-only stop for Earnhardt because he pitted for tires during the last yellow, which was the 3rd yellow of the race. Slow cars right now in the back straightaway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is closing in on. Might be some cars with damage. I know one of them looks like it's Carl Edwards, and he was one of the drivers who had flipped today. Edwards, the rookie, right in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. A lot of rookies in the field this season. Nearly contact off the exit of turn 4. Earnhardt down to the bottom. Went to the apron, actually stuck it. Ryan Newman right in front of this group. 3 wide is Earnhardt down low. Feathers the throttle to get around Carl Edwards on the bottom. And Dale Jr. on the comeback. Doesn't have any help. Now Carl Edwards is going to go with him on the inside. Jr. blocks Edwards. Trying to get some help from Ryan Newman in the 12. Going to beat the 77 car down to the bottom as well. It's Travis Quaffle. Run and gone, one and done in the 77. Ryan Newman will pit off turn 4. And at least Jr. has some drafting help right now in the pack. Halfway home, 30 laps down, another 30 still to go. Dale Jr. drafting right in line behind the 77 of Travis Quaffle. A lot of rookies in this opening dual race. Carl Edwards, Travis Quaffle, Jason Leffler, Kyle Busch, Mike Bliss, Martin Truex Jr. I mean, that's about a third of the field is rookies in this first race. I think every rookie literally is in the opening dual race today. And 3 drivers out of the race, 1 wrecked, and then 2 engine failures. Biffle and Busch. Earnhardt getting a bit tight off the exit of turn 4, grazes the wall. Should be able to stay in the draft of the 77 with a lot of help behind him yet. I think he's going to make a wedge adjustment when he makes the next stop as well, because he is getting very tight in traffic. Actually on the brakes that time into turn 1, and he's still in the wall on the outside. Unbelievable. That's going to cost Earnhardt a little bit of time. Travis Waffle. Quapple. I want to know how Elliott Sadler flipped and is still in this race right now. I mean, I guess Carl Edwards is too, but Sadler's in the top 10. Evil Terry, welcome to the stream, and yes, I am. Another car blowing up on the bottom of the racetrack. I couldn't tell who that one was, though. That is the 3rd engine failure and the 4th DNF in dual race number 1. Earnhardt getting loose off turn 4. Might as well pit now. Wasn't going to plan on pitting this early. He's going to... That's a speeding penalty. No tires and a wedge adjustment. That is a big speeding penalty for Dale Earnhardt. Going to take the wedge out of the car. A little bit of an adjustment. Gas and go only, but a speeding penalty for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And now a mistake by the gas man trying to get the can into the nozzle. This is costly for Dale Jr. That may be a costly penalty. He's going to work his way back up onto the racetrack. I still think some time was saved. I don't know how the old tires is going to work out. That's going to loosen up Dale Jr. on his own, let alone the fact that he also took the wedge out of the car because it was tight in the corners. Earnhardt locked the tires up trying to get to the commitment line and still was speeding. Wasn't even close to getting down to 70 miles an hour. He was about 40 to 50 miles an hour too fast when he hit the commitment line. Santiago Kid, welcome to the stream. No, I had a couple speeding penalties in the, what was it? There's a Cup Series at Watkins Glen? No, it wasn't. It was a road course. I remember I sped twice in one race. I can't remember where it was. Might have been one of the fantasy road courses. Definitely the first time I sped in this game. Mark Martin closing in on the back of Dale Earnhardt Jr. When will the rest of the leaders pit? Right now there are 11 cars that have to make their final stop, and when will they make it? And can Dale Jr. cycle back to the lead? Gonna alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. "25 laps to go in dual race number 1 at Daytona. We will not get to see dual race number 2. But again, our Daytona 500 will be later tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here comes the 6 of Mark Martin, who has never won a Daytona 500. He wants an opportunity to do that tonight. And if he can win this race and give himself great track position, it's going to be a good start. Martin Truex Jr. on his way into the pits. Dale Jr. going to draft behind the 6 of Mark Martin. Looks back to the inside of Mark. Oh, a little contact. Big block by the 6 of Martin. That was a pretty risky block for Mark Martin on a car that was a lap down and already made his pit stop. Junior's definitely able to roll the inside a little bit better, going up to try and block Matt Kenseth, keep him behind him so he can have a little bit of drafting help, try to get back to Martin. Earnhardt up high, trying to block Kenseth again. One car getting up to speed on the bottom of the racetrack. Not sure who that is. Jeff Gordon and Martin Truex Jr. are the 2 cars getting up to speed. When will Matt Kenseth and Mark Martin pit at the front of the field right now? Can Dale Jr. catch up to this 1 and 24 car? Kenseth crowding Dale Jr. into turn 1. My goodness! Completely took his line away. Big moment for Earnhardt. Gene Huddleston, welcome to the stream. .42 of Jamie McMurray going to get by on the inside. Mark Martin, the race leader, is on pit road. So Martin finally into pit. Earnhardt lifting quite a bit to get into turns 1 and 2. And he might lose Jamie McMurray in the 42 car now. There we go. "20 laps left. Field very spaced apart after green flag pit stops in dual race number 1 at Daytona. Junior's at least rallied to get back in the top 10. Not everybody has... Oh, that's right. I forgot. Elliott Sadler pitted during the last caution, so he could probably go a little bit further on fuel yet. Actually, forgot about that. Ryan Newman all over the back of the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now. Some cars getting up to speed down on the bottom. We'll have another field pass once again. Martin Truex Jr. in the 6th place position. A lot closer towards the front of the field right now. You can see how much faster Truex is just because of how much less damage his car has versus Dale Earnhardt Jr. Definitely going to adjust the setup before the Daytona 500 a little bit more again. So again, Elliott Sadler leads. Will this race stay green to the end of the race as well? Michael Walter, by the way, must be in dual race number 2 because that's another one of the DEI cars. And we'll go back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Ryan's in line behind Ryan Newman in the 12. A couple of the Penske cars of Rusty Wallace and Ryan Newman are right here. Can these guys get together and draft? And for Dale Jr.'s sake, not make a mistake. He can draft behind Ryan Newman and not make a mistake. I think Dale Jr. may have a shot. Not sure how far off of whoever second place is right now, which would likely be Mark Martin, I would have to assume. Three-car draft going right now, almost like a three-car tandem. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Denny Hamlin's in the Busch Series in this game, but not in the Cup Series. He's in the number 20 car in the Busch Series. Junior lifting a little bit to keep it off the back of Ryan Newman in the middle of the corner. Going to go back down low to try and block Rusty Wallace. 15 laps to go yet. I have to say, this is going a lot better than the truck in the Busch Series race yesterday. I'll say that much. Getting a little tight in the dirty air. Damage obviously not helping for Earnhardt's sake. Rusty Wallace to the inside. Junior going to be able to stay in front of him, and I think he's barely going to stay in the draft of the 12 car of Ryan Newman on the back straightaway as well. Big run into turn 1. Closes back in on Newman again. So hard to draft by running the outside. When will Elliott Sadler pit? Again, he is not going to be good on fuel. He'll have to go 41 laps on fuel to the end of the race. Again, Earnhardt did not pit for tires. He went fuel only as well. But had a speeding penalty. So again, if he didn't have a pit road speeding penalty, that's 5 seconds he could have had back. It's like Rusty Wallace going to get around the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now. Junior drafts behind the 2. Junior having to lift a little bit. He might lose the Penske cars with no help behind him. Unless the 2 of Wallace pulls out a line to make the pass on Newman, which is looking like is the case. Big run for Earnhardt into turns 1 and 2. And everything in his willpower to stay with the Penske Dodges. Up the track goes Newman. Earnhardt underneath him. Sounds like Elliott Sadler's going to pit this time. Earnhardt going to get it right around the 12 of Newman. Rusty Wallace has never won the Daytona 500 in his career. Last chance to do so this season. Rusty Wallace will be retiring. We'll not see him in the NASCAR 07 gameplay later down the line. We'll have 2 seasons in the Cup Series to try and get that race that he has not been able to win yet in his career in the Great American Race. Earnhardt actually held the outside really well that time. Ryan Newman went towards the top. Dale Jr. to the inside in the tri-oval trying to make a pass on Rusty Wallace, and that's for 8th place. He'll clear him into turn 1. And now draft behind the 42 of Jamie McMurray, another Dodge. 1 car slow coming off of pit road. That's Elliott Sadler. I think Earnhardt's going to get around him as they get up to speed. So that's 7th place for Dale Jr. Again, drafting behind Jamie McMurray. Didn't let up out of the gas that time, pushing hard through 3 and 4. McMurray for Chip Ganassi Racing in the 42. Mark Martin continues to lead and has led the most laps so far in this dual race, 10 laps to go. Junior lifted a little bit that time. Just in desperate need of a caution right now if Earnhardt's going to get back into this race. Rusty Wallace in the 2. Making the pass on Earnhardt. Earnhardt goes low. And across Wallace back over. Slides up in front. Oh, man. That didn't work. Slide job at Daytona. And Earnhardt put it in the wall. As he'll lose the 42 in the 2. Wallace to the inside of McMurray. Trying to make a pass for position. Elliott Sadler, Ryan Newman in line behind the 8 of Earnhardt. Junior going to the outside in front of Ryan Newman. Back to the bottom in front of Elliott Sadler. Newman with a run up high. Big block. Dale Jr. almost turned himself. Eight to go this time by. Good news is Dale Jr. will be on the pole for the Daytona 500. That's where he qualified before this race started in the stream today. Oh, big block. In the wall goes Newman. He hangs on to it. Junior may lose the draft behind Sadler. It's a lot of momentum loss. He was only at about 181 miles an hour going into turn one. Junior's car is definitely getting a lot more unstable on the older tires. The air pressure's still up in the race car too. So definitely going to make some adjustment changes before the Daytona 500 later tonight. Well, even if Newman got around Earnhardt, I think Dale Jr. is going to end up with a top 10 in this race. Had a couple front runners blow an engine early like Greg Biffle and Kyle Busch. Biffle while leading and Busch while running second. Kurt Busch and Bubba Wallace are the only two at 23-11 racing in the Cup Series. Penske and plate racing now seems to work. Cindric winning the Daytona 500 this year and Logano in 2015. Lenny seems to run pretty well in this race as well. But yeah, in this time period, not so much. Not until Ryan Newman ended up finally winning in 2008 was the first win for Penske in the 500. But up until that, yeah, they did not have any luck, it seemed like. I don't know who this is. I think it might be Carl Edwards in the 99. It's amazing the two cars that flipped are running in the top 10 right now. Dale Jr. going to let Edwards go. He's got a pole in line behind him. Almost turned him. Definitely think there's a bit too much air pressure in the tires. Jr. hopping in front of Ryan Newman. I don't know if Carl Edwards is going to be able to pull away. They hit the 12 down low. Edwards up high by himself. One of Edwards' teammates, though, Carl Edwards, leads this race with 4 laps to go. Newman almost got in the wall in turns 1 and 2. It actually feels comfortable with the in-car camera in this game, even when the car is looser. Obviously, it's a lot harder to make any blocks. Right front end of the yellow right now for Earnhardt. Make that the right rear as well. Winner of the duels get dunked by Gatorade? I don't think so. Earnhardt got loose in the tri-oval. Saw quite a bit of wiggling that time. Trying to hold on for a top 10 finish in dual race number 1 in front of Ryan Newman. I'll take a top 10. Survive the carnage early. Man, Earnhardt is just sideways. The tires are only in the yellow right now. I think if they were in the red. I think that's Quaffle, the 77, another Penske Dodge. Behind Newman, they may work together to get around Earnhardt. Not going to work that time. 2 laps to go. And Gatorade Duel number 1. Can our driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. hold on for at least a top 10? Whatever happens here, can't be too aggressive. He's obviously being aggressive with the blocks. Wrecked earlier. He's going to get that fast speed back for the 500 later, but obviously too much speed has been knocked out of it. He's on older tires compared to these guys too, which is not helping. And you can definitely tell old tires. Definitely costing Dale Jr. A lot of side drafting going on behind Dale right now between the 77 and the 12. Final lap of dual race number 1, and then we'll be about 2.5 hours away from the start of the Daytona 500 later tonight. Ice to Monkey 92 Hammer, welcome to the stream. Quaffle just got around Ryan Newman for 11th. Mark Martin trying to go on to win the race. Dale Jr. a little loose. Oh, side drafted the 77. And Newman went with the 8 of Earnhardt. Surprised he didn't go with his teammate, but I guess they're racing each other for a starting spot for the 500. Earnhardt on the pole for the Daytona 500 after qualifying, but still wants a top 10 finish in this race. Checkered flag is in the air. Ryan Newman's going to win. Earnhardt sideways off turn 4, keeps his foot in it, and he's going to lose the spot to Newman and gone at the checkered flag. So Earnhardt's going to end up 12th, but he did a great job not wrecking the race car, and all things considered, and was able to get to the finish. So he will be on the pole for the Daytona 500 later. Mark Martin, your dual race 1 winner, and Shane Meal wins dual race number 2 in the 08. One of the other rookies, and one of the few, I think, that were in dual 2. So Shane Meal will be outside of row 2 for the start of the Daytona 500 later tonight. Definitely going to make a tire adjustment as far as the air pressure, drop it down to 25. And yeah, I'll keep it with no wedge for right now. Gear ratios. Need to work on the acceleration. It's going to hurt top speed though, that's what I don't like. We need to get up to speed a bit quicker. I think that's where I'll leave it at for gearing for the Daytona 500. We're on the pole. It's a big one today. Just to let you guys know, again, I have not won the Daytona 500 on the EA Sports games. I went 0 for 2 in the Cup Series on NASCAR Thunder 2004. I went 0 for 2 in NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Daytona in general in the Cup Series. NASCAR Thunder 2004, never won at Daytona, whether it was a night race, whether it was the 500. I went 0 for 5 in points races at Daytona in that game. I went 0 for 5 in Daytona races in NASCAR 05. Didn't win a night race or any of the 500s. So I'm 0 for 10 on the EA Sports games in the Cup Series at Daytona. I have gotten 2 Talladega wins. I think I had 1 in NASCAR 05 in the custom schedule season, and I had 1 at some point in NASCAR Thunder 04. So I do have 2 wins at Talladega, but overall 2 super speedway victories in what would be 20 super speedway races on the EA Sports games for the Cup Series as far as points races. I have won 2 duels at Daytona. I just haven't won a points race here yet. So thanks for everybody tuning in this afternoon. Thursday afternoon, it looked like we had a pretty good showing, all things considered. Sorry for those of you that missed it, but I had to get this in today to run the Daytona 500, because otherwise I was going to have to keep my PlayStation 2 on for a really long period of time. Keeping it on for a couple hours, I'm alright with that, but I'm not going to keep it on overnight, so that's why I didn't do this last night. Thanks for everybody watching, though, and I will see you guys at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time later today for the 500. Should be a doozy.